She was my best friend. She was everyone's best friend. She made everyone feel as if she was their best friend. She really cared for everyone. Two stories come to mind as I think of how she cared for everyone. It was Mother's Day. She made a Mother's Day party for the women, which my wife attended. We all know that on Mother's Day we buy presents for our mothers. However, Grandma was not like that. She bought presents for her daughters, daughter-in-laws, and my wife. But they weren't all the same. Each person received a notepad and a pen which was special to them in some way. It was like each present was a personalized gift from her. They told her, "We are supposed to buy you a gift." She said, "No, you are all mothers and all deserve a present." The second story. Last year, while she was already sick and weak, my wife and kids went to visit her on one Thursday night. My daughter mentioned to Grandma that she has a report to write on Newport, Rhode Island. Grandma began telling her much information about it, and later on went down to her basement and came up with a book and papers and letters with all the information my daughter would need for the report. She allowed us to take it home, even though it was very special to her, as long as we return it so that others may use it also. She made the connection so strong between them that my daughter said that she was going to ask Grandma Nina next time which state she should do her next report on. She loved helping others and really cared for everyone. She was born in South Florida, moved to Michigan, and then came to Bradley. She never really had a Jewish education, only attending Sunday school back in Michigan. However, I recall her speaking of Ruth and Hesed and telling me that those two special women are her role models. She truly lived up to those goals. Whenever we asked her advice, she would always give us the best advice. She was never wrong. She encouraged us to read from the encyclopedia which she had so that we can gain wisdom. She spoke with wisdom and taught us to do kindness. She would sing songs very often to make us happy. On our birthdays every year, she would call us, give us presents and cards. She made sure to attend everyone's party. Just 2 weeks ago, in anticipation for Hurricane Irene, she evacuated to Brooklyn. My son's bar mitzvah was pushed off to Monday night. I went to visit her in her house. Her words to me were, "I need to make it to the bar mitzvah. I need to come." Baruch Hashem, she came in terrible pain, but she was so happy to be there. If she was still in Deal, who knows if she would have been able to make the trip there. We were lucky to have her there. Everyone enjoyed her presence. Wherever she went, I remember about 16 years ago, my brother had a friend whose father had passed away. His mother lived in a faraway country, and he was living with his brother. I invited him to come to our house for Shabbat. When I found out that we were going to Grandma for lunch, I called Grandma and asked her if his friend can come. "Of course, no problem, my pleasure." The boy, a mere 12 to 13-year-old, came over and he felt out of place. Grandma sat the whole lunch talking to him. This boy left the house telling me how special he felt. Grandma gave him so much attention. Today I met this man, and reminded him of this story, and he acknowledged, he told me it's really true. What you're saying is really true. Many women have amassed achievement, but Grandma surpassed all. The amount she accomplished in one day was amazing. She worked 9 to 5, add on 2 hours of traveling by train to make new friends, taking care of Grandpa, and never missing anyone's party. All this without asking for anyone's help. This is really a great life achievement. A story is brought to mind. There was once an Essex cousin who was making a wedding in Lakewood during the winter. Of course, she would be attending. Everyone was upset that they would have to travel so far. Grandma was actually excited. When everyone was complaining about the long distance traveling, she got up and said that this is going to be so much fun. All they had to do was arrange a bus and everyone traveled together. Then she got up and demonstrated how she would lead everyone in a choir so that they could sing the whole way there. The bus never actually happened, but she was able to get everyone excited to make the long trip to Lakewood. As we heard at this funeral, although she came to the community without much religion, all she wanted to do was to marry to the most religious family, the Esses family. She realized that grace is false and beauty is vain. A woman who fears Hashem, she should be praised. The Mishnah in Masechet Avot tells us that Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai told his students to go find out which path is the correct path which one should take. Each one came back saying a different one. The Rabbi Elazar came back and said the path one should take is one of the good heart. Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai liked that path more than all the others. Grandma had a good heart for everyone. She would take care of everyone and tended to everyone. She never asked us to help her. That Sunday, which I visited her during Hurricane Irene, she needed me to help her get on the bed. She didn't ask me to help her until I saw that she needed me, and I asked her, Grandma, can I please help you? Once everyone left the room, she broke out crying. I never asked anyone to help me. Now I am a burden on all of my family. I don't want to have to ask people to help me. I tried to console her, but I know that as much as I told her, she wasn't consoled. Grandma, you taught us to love everyone and to follow the correct path. We have a lot to live up to and yet a lot to learn from all your great ways. She was a very special woman, and as Shlomo Melech finishes off, give her the fruits of her hands and let her be praised in the gates by her very own deeds. She did great deeds and built a beautiful family of children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. We will miss her, but we will always remember her. To conclude, I would like to end with the pasuk from Yeshaya, Bilah Hamar Lanetzach, U'macha Hashem Elokim Dimah Me'al Kol Panim, V'cheshat Amo Yasiz Me'al Kol Ha'aretz Ki Hashem Dibed. He will destroy death forever, and Hashem the Lord will wipe away tears from all faces. And the insult of his people he shall take away from all of the earth, for the Lord has spoken it.
Amen. So far, so good.
Are you going to get the video off there? Take the card out, pop it in something? You can't email it.
Something like that. We'll figure it out, yeah.
A few years ago, one of my sisters was sitting at a funeral with Grandma Nina. During the eulogy, she turned over to my sister after hearing an impressive eulogy and told her, at my funeral, make sure the speakers try to give others something that they could learn from my life. Make sure you teach them a lesson. If possible, try to teach them a lesson. Let them go home with something. I stand here right now as her grandson to try to fulfill that difficult request. Why is it difficult? Because there's not enough time in this afternoon where I can give over all the lessons that we have learned from Grandma Nina. After hours of thinking and going back and forth in my thoughts, if I can describe one trait that best describes Grandma Nina, it would be her selflessness. Grandma Nina lived the most selfless life. She lived a life totally committed to making other people happy. She was selfless to strangers. For years, she would receive holiday cards and all different gifts from people all over the world. I asked Grandma, who are these people? They were strangers that she met on vacation or on the train. People that would thank her for giving them direction in certain situations, even involving their own children and different personal challenges. That's how she was to people she knew for only a few minutes. To her friends and acquaintances, she was legendary. She would be the first one at every wedding or party, and the last one to leave. Even when she was very sick, she would make it her priority to try and get there. She never liked when I told her, we had a wedding, we were going to run into for just a few minutes and we'll be back later. Don't worry, Grandma, we're not going to be long. She never liked when we said that. Her philosophy was very simple. If a person went out of the way to invite you to partake in the happy occasion, They expected you to come and celebrate and be there as long as you could. This is how selfless she was to other people. To her family, Grandma Nina or Auntie Nina was truly an icon. She was a pillar of strength for the entire family. The day she passed away, my Aunt Cheryl said she was just an encyclopedia. Anything you wanted to know, or anytime you had a question or advice on any type of an issue, you would call her on the spot. Her sisters, Aunt Cheryl and Aunt Susie, spoke to her so much, they were on the phone with her every morning by 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning. We had a joke in the family. Whenever you had good news, if someone was dating someone, or was pregnant, thank God, Baruch Hashem, we would say, don't tell Grandma. The next morning she tells her sisters and then the word would be out. Grandma told me, listen, the logic is very simple. We're so happy when we hear good news. We have to share it with others. She herself would tell me, don't tell me secrets that you don't want no one to, don't tell me secrets that you don't want anybody to know. I cannot help myself. I'm going to tell other people. To her sisters-in-law in the Esses family, she meant the world to them. A few years ago on Grandpa Eddie's birthday, the Esses sisters and the sisters-in-law, they bought her a gift. They said, Hadja, how many more belts, ties, shirts, or shoes does Grandpa Eddie need? He has the greatest gift in the world, and that's Grandma Nina. On the card they simply wrote, Dear Nina, thank you for being the best sister-in-law a person could ever have. This is just to say, this was before she was even sick. Even to all the outlaws, her daughters-in-law, her granddaughters-in-law, everybody that married into the family felt that they knew her for a handful of years, that only knew her for a handful of years, felt like they knew her for a lifetime. This week, I think almost everybody said they feel like they knew Grandma Nina forever. This was the type of impact that she had on people. I myself used to talk to her about business advice. Imagine a woman in our community that had that type, that not only being your typical grandma, but can also talk to you about different situations in business and different experience and different ways to handle things. And how much she would tell me she picked up from her brother, Uncle Alan Tavish, which she admired so much. She looked up to him so much, even though he was a younger brother. This is just, while she was giving advice, she couldn't help but talk great about her family. Of course, we will all ask her dating advice. Her number one advice to us was always look for quality. I used to tell her about different girls I went out with that she felt were suitable for me. I would say, Grandma, I don't really like them. I have nothing to talk about. So what? She would tell me. If she's a good girl with quality, just marry her, and then you don't need to talk to her. That was her advice. Quality is number one. I'm so happy to say that when I finally did get married, I married a girl exactly like she told me to, with quality and someone that I can talk to. We would always ask her advice about our children. My little daughters, God bless them, could be rowdy a little bit here and there, like all kids are. She would always reassure me, even up until a few weeks ago, don't worry, Uncle Alan was a terror in school. Uncle Morris was a terror at home. I couldn't figure it out what I was doing wrong. Look how they turned out. Two of the greatest people of chesed and moral qualities that you could find. If my kids turn out even a fraction the way they are, I know that I did okay. My sister Gloria would tell me every time she went on vacation, she would come back and talk to Grandma about different spots she went to. Grandma would go and pull out